welcome today's 10, 11 and 12 of the Haru Basho, the 15-day Spring Grand Sumo Tournament from Osaka, Japan. My name's Syd Hoare. So going to the last 6 days of the Basho, the top three in the last Basho, Chiyotakai, Tochiazuma, Kotomitsuki, are all fast fading. Chiyotakai and Kotomitsuki have got 4 losses apiece at this stage. Tochiazuma's got 2 losses, which is not too bad. But in contrast, Yokozuna, Musashi Maru and veteran Kaio are firmly in the lead. It looks like a duel between the two of them to the bitter end. So Musashi Maru leads with 9 straight wins, Kaio behind him with 1 loss, and Tochiazuma and Takanonami with 2 losses behind Kaio. So let's go to first of our bouts on day 10. It's between Daizen and Wakanoyama. Wakanoyama, he dropped out. He had almost a 5-year absence from the Makuuchi division. He got ill and then he had to drop out, but he fought his way back. Here he is, back in the Makuuchi division again, 29 years old, and pushing Daizen out with oshidashi. So 6th win there for Wakanoyama, and the 5th loss for Daizen. Now in the bright green mawashi, it's Miyabiyama. And he's fighting Hamanishiki. Well, Hamanishiki hurt his thigh earlier in the Basho. Seems to be soldiering on, not doing too bad. He's got 5 wins so far. Fast start, but Miyabiyama powers out, looking stronger each day after his 3 Basho absence. And that's him disposing of Hamanishiki without too much trouble. And that was 6th win for Miyabiyama. Now we have technician Kaiho, one of the lightest men in this Makuuchi division, only 121 kilos. Weight hasn't changed much in the last 4 years since he's been in the Makuuchi division. Here fighting Oikari. And there was a misjudged start by Kaiho. Quite tricky this start. So that was more or less even at the tachi-ai, but it's a lot of slaps from Oikari, and he's wrapping his arm around Kaiho's neck, quite often a sign of desperation, and Kaiho leans on him. Oikari had his heels to the inside of the circle, just on the edge there. A little bit of pressure from Kaiho dropped him down pretty firmly on his back onto that very hard surface. Now we have a man, Tamakasuga, serious sumo wrestler, rarely goes out at night apparently, here fighting Tohka-me Sakari, otherwise known as Robocop. This is on account of his severely injured knees. He walks in a peculiar way. He was very strong, but his knees have held him back in his sumo career. Was previously in the Makuuchi division, but then had to drop out because of his knees. You can see him there still suffering from that knee. Japanese have this attitude to injuries. You're meant to fight through them. They don't rest them particularly. Now we have Shimotori, newcomer. This is his first Makuuchi Basho, and he's fighting Aminishiki, who's been in this Makuuchi division since the year 2000. So a bit of difference in experience between these two. Aminishiki is some 20 kilos lighter, but he's doing well so far. He's got 6 wins. Shimotori's got 5. He's doing pretty well as well, considering that's his first Basho. Shimotori there coming across with a double grip on one side, but Aminishiki knew the technique for that. Spun him over with a makiotoshi throw. Shimotori looking a little bit upset about that one. So 7th win for Aminishiki. Well, for a lightweight wrestler, he's doing very well. Well, we're interactive on this program. We've got some emails from various viewers building up. Lots of queries. Got one from Martin Toft in Denmark, wants to know how much money is in the prize money that's given out at the end of some bouts. Well, it's 60,000 yen, and that translates to $447 or £313. Wrestlers get roughly half of that. So Richard Cottrell also wanted to know how much the Kensho-kin was as well. Number of email queries about Takanohana. Why he's out in his 5th basho. Well, we'll get on to that in a minute. Let's just look at this bout. We've got Dejima against Tochinonada. These two have fought before. Tochinonada's beaten Dejima 4 times. But Dejima also got spun over there on the edge. Dejima tends to overextend himself. He leans right into it, and then the other wrestlers just pull away from it a bit, and Dejima drops on his face. Well, let's see if he's going to overextend himself here. No, not particularly. But he just got nudged over the edge with yorikiri instead of landing flat on his face. So yes, Takanohana's out this basho. It's his 5th one. He's got a very bad right knee injury. He's taking treatment from a French doctor. And I think he's using the authority of his rank to stay out. Normally, yokozunas aren't allowed to stay out that long. But he seems determined to recover completely. The doctor says his knee's not ready yet. But in February, Takanohana was doing some shiko, that's the big high leg stamps. And he was also doing a bit of butsukari keiko, that's where they stand in the ring and whack into each other. So this bout now, Kotonowaka against Mongolian Kyokutenho on the left there. Both fought each other 10 times, each has won 5 times. Kyokutenho not doing too well this tournament, has only got 2 wins so far. A nice little move there. He spins in and tries to knock away Kotonowaka's inside leg to destabilize him, but it didn't work. Well, that was very neatly done there. Kyokutenho used his long arms against a much bigger man and just pressed down on his belt, and that was enough for Kotonowaka to crumble and spin to the ground. So very nice balance between twisting to the right, twisting to the left there, and then finally Kotonowaka went down. They say that's one way to beat big men, is to twist them off their feet rather than to blast them off their feet. A lot of technique in sumo. It's Tochiazuma coming out for his bout against Kotomitsuki in a moment. Now Tosanoumi fights Wakanosato. Well, Wakanosato's new tactic has been to use the forearm to crack under the chin, then headbutt. I've seen it a few times, but it's not really working too well. Let's see if he does it this time. Yeah, there you see the forearm came under Tosanoumi's chin. Then he cracked him, but these sumo wrestlers are well used to being banged around the face, either by the opponent's arm or their head. So they more or less disregard some of those moves. Well, it's Wakanosato gets that one after Tosanoumi's charge into him. Gives him his 5th win. We have another email query from Jean-Francois Marguillo. Wants to know why some of the judges judge when their own men are in the ring. The other day, Chiyotakai was out there, and one of the judges, the chief judge, was Chiyonofuji, one time known as Chiyonofuji. Well, they do that. That happens. Well, that was a nice bout. Asashoryu there, whirlwind attack. Little sneak drop down, tried an ankle pick, went for Takanonami's ankles, just destabilized him towards the end there. There's the leg grab, more of a knee rather than an ankle, and that sends Takanonami over the edge. Well, as I was saying, the judges do judge their own men, but somebody once asked why there was no drug testing in sumo, and the reply was, no sumo man takes drugs, so we don't need drug testing. So it's that's the answer to why Chiyonofuji judges his own man. So now we have Tochiazuma against Kotomitsuki. They fought each other 6 times. Each has won 3 times. Now this is the most awaited bout of the day. These are 2 of the 3 front runners in the previous basho. They were head to head, or rather neck and neck, I should say, for most of the basho. Look at that head banging start there. They really cracked in hard against each other's heads. Tochiazuma locking in tight. Kotomitsuki hasn't quite got his right arm on the belt, just above the belt. Neither wrestler has got a belt hold. And it's just hips pulled well back, denying the other wrestler any kind of grip on the belt. That's Kotomitsuki tries a neck pull down there. Her Takikomi starts to drive Tochiazuma back. Tochiazuma hanging on grimly there. He's got his heels right to the edge and over he goes with yorikiri. So Tochiazuma takes his third loss and Kotomitsuki his sixth win. Well, that was a very finely fought bout there between these two experts. Neither of them had a belt grip, and yet from this very tenuous hold that they had on each other, they managed to snatch victory. You can see Kotomitsuki's right hand there hasn't really got a grip on the belt. He's been denied that. You see that move on his forearm there by Tochiazuma, otherwise known as otsuke. It's a sort of pressure up on the elbow that stops the gripping and actually floats the opponent's weight up a bit. Now Tochiazuma there hugs Kotomitsuki's neck. Not a good sign, that, and he's on the edge. Not much he can do about that, and over he goes. Now we have Akeno Shima and Kaio. Akeno Shima's beaten Kaio 5 times, but Akeno Shima's been around a little bit too long. He's 35 years old and past his prime. Just to remind you, you can email me during the program. Go to Eurosport.com, then go to the Club Eurosport, look for commentators, and then look for sumo, and then send me an email. Maybe I can answer it if I've got time. Well, that was very neatly done by Akeno Shima. You can see Kaio's body rocking there from side to side. Akeno Shima was well in control of that, and then he dumped him down with makiotoshi, thrust drop throw. Akeno Shima, and he's got a pair of ears like gyoza. I don't know if you know about Chinese or Japanese food, that's dumplings, sort of dumplings. That's what his ears look like. Well, you see Kaio there pushing forward, use his body, there's a twist, and he couldn't really recover from that, and down he went. So Kaio takes his second loss, and this is the man who would be looking at that and pleased that that was happening, because Kaio is his main rival in this basho. Now Toki fights Musayama. Used to have fought 9 times before. It's pretty evens though between them. Musayama's won 5, just ahead of Toki. Toki had a spell out of the Makuuchi division, got demoted for being breaking the sumo rules. Well, Musayama won that one with oshidashi. That's a push down, and that was his 7th win. He seemed to have hurt his shoulder previously, although it doesn't seem to have affected him particularly there. He dislocated it twice in the past, but many of these wrestlers do have shoulder problems. Now Chiotaikai fights Kyokushuzan. Kyokushuzan's having a very bad basho. He's only got 1 win. When he first came into Makuuchi Sumo, he was really a live wire. Did all sorts of different stuff, mainly from Mongolian sumo. Somehow the system squashed him down, tried to make him become a traditional, classical, orthodox fighter, and he seemed a bit lost really from then on. Occasionally does good stuff, certainly not doing at all well this time round. Chiotaikai notching up his 6th win. Now the Yokozuna, 9 straight wins, well and truly in the lead. Fights Otsukasa, who he's beaten once before, but I've only ever had 1 bout before. See the weight of Masashi Maru, 223 kilos. Both hands go down, if you notice, to that shikiri there, the crouch down, meant to be one then the other. Masashi Maru is apparently been working on increasing his strength. He's certainly looking very strong this particular basho. Previous one was a bit of a disaster for him, only had 1 win, but he did have an injured wrist. Seems to be all right this basho, and he's certainly looking more powerful these days. I mean, those pushes of his one arm is sending most of his opponents out without bothering too much about the other one. So 10 straight wins now for Masashi Maru. It's the usual start, comes out with 2 hands to the opponent's shoulders, Then it's the Tsuparis pushing into the face, chests of the opponent and over the edge. So a bit of money there for Yokozuna. $447 by today's exchange rate. So at the end of day 10, it's Masashi Maru in the lead, Kaio behind him with 2 losses. Masashi Maru with no losses at all. But we'll be back very shortly with day 11. Stay with us.